check this shit out, Playboy.
These are turbulent times.
I would love to talk about the Battle of the Gullet. House of the Dragon has been foreshadowing it with, the blockade. But what was the most challenging thing about this massive maritime battle?
For me, definitely continuing holding the emotional severity of everything while trying to keep your head above water, really.
In all senses of the word.
Literally, and also, it was, the important thing about the whole battle anyway, is just the sheer sort of violence of it. And I think that is mainly seen, obviously, through the actual physical nature of it, but also just through the people participating in it. And I think that was something that was really important to tell this story of the Gullet, was just like how terrifying and violent it was. Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. I think you can choreograph the fight scenes, which is what we did. You can do that, but ultimately without emotional content in that fight. I think one of the rules of fight choreography is that when you make every blow, you want it to be the last. Your character wants it to be the last blow. That's the winning blow. You don't begin a fight and think, this will last about 5 minutes.
No.
You'd like it to end with one thrust. And so keeping that emotional content of every blow that you make, so that hopefully you, the viewer watching it, go, oh my God, yeah, he really wants to do this, and it hasn't happened, and oh my God, and they're getting tired and so forth. So constantly having to say, okay, where are we in the battle? What has happened? What have I just seen?
Yeah.
And so forth, so that when you're watching it, it flows as a one continual story.
Being separate is such a challenge because unlike the boys who are at sea, who they shoot those huge sequences and they've done like stunt rehearsals for weeks and weeks, and it becomes like a massive ensemble piece. We are just alone. We're like shooting in separate days. And I think it's sometimes really hard to imagine at least your POV of what you're seeing and sort of like get the scale right. I think that's fair to say. But we had really amazing Lonnie who really helped.
Yeah, they do. They help us as much as they can with that. But you're right. It is sort of the core thing. Is like
it's weird.
Yeah, which also it makes us very thankful and lucky for our relationship in real life because it's not hard to picture Bethany. So I'm like, great, that's fine. Same with Harry.
Phoebe, during the battle, we're sort of like, yay, Rain is a dragon rider, yay, first Dracarys, and then oh no, she doesn't have control.
Yeah.
How did you approach this pivot from complete high to what do I do?
I guess hard relate, where I go into things thinking I got this and just, so it wasn't like an unfamiliar feeling. But yeah, I guess that the realization of I have no control over this. There's nothing I can do. I think we can all relate to that in some way. It's even like I have a dog, right, who actually, topically, looks a bit like Sheep Stealer. And if she starts to like run in front of a car, I'm like, I can't do anything. You're off, you're gone. And I think that instinct to be like, right, I'm just here for the ride, but try.
Yeah. I mean, and also, I think it's very relatable because of 3 words. That's my sister. Like, I dropped everything I was holding. I was like, oh my God.
Oh, the worst. The actual worst. Yeah. Brutal. It was a horrible day. Horrible.
So Lonnie and I, we talked about what we called the Captain Ahab moment, where she's up on the rails, she hits Steve and gets him away, and she lunges towards him with the axe. There's no way that move is going to succeed. And it's really, if this doesn't hit his head and kill him, she's dead. She knows it because she's overextended. And in that moment, she knows that she's risking it all. And so we have that Captain Ahab moment. It's that from hell's heart I stab at thee, for hate's sake I spit my last breath. And she really goes for it. So it's about choosing those moments where you really bring everything of the character into that one move. And that's the beautiful challenge about action.
Did you have any other lines that you were like, this is the greatest moment? Like, you have to
Call me Lohard Dragon Slayer? Love that. But also, the moment where they set the grapnel up. There's no line in the script for this, but I just look at Steve and and this wasn't written, I just decided to play this. I look at Steve and in my head, you could see me thinking, check this shit out, Playboy. Because he doesn't know what the big dragon killing gun is. And I'm just like, bang! I love that, man. I love that they kept it in. Just me being like, bam.
Harry, the end of episode 1 is a massive moment for your character, obviously, and I think audiences will be very shocked by what happens to Jace and Vermax in this moment. How did you emotionally prepare for it? Because it's a huge deal.
I mean, I had loads of meetings with Lonnie, the director of the episode, and Ryan just talking about how I can portray feelings while being up in the air and having all this stuff going on around me. So yeah, it wasn't really. I don't know. Lonnie just really helped me get into character, and even we would make up scenarios that would happen with Jace that didn't happen in the show, you know, which really helped me get into character. But not much preparation really. I had a lot of wetsuit fittings. I suppose that was a lot of preparation, and horse riding lessons to get my posture right on the buck.
Fucking Bronco.
Yeah, and then. It was really fun. It was really fun this time around because I finally get to get out of the offices.
We get to see Corliss in full combat mode, but we also get to see his amazing evasive maneuvering skills.
Yes.
With the Dragonstone Pass. What was it like to film this? Because essentially I want to play that video game. And, and what was it like to bring this side of Corliss to the show?
Oh, it was a joy because, in a way, I've been kind of waiting to show that side of him because, of course, you've been hearing, and other than the Battle of the Stepstones in season 1, we've not really seen him in action. Most of season 2 is like, my wife's dead and my son doesn't love me, So, so it was nice.
TLDR.
Yeah. So it was nice to show. Oh yes, that's right. That's what he's good at. This is why he runs away to sea whenever there's a problem, because he's good at it and he feels comfortable there. So doing those scenes, putting yourself in that position where you're the guy, was joyous. And I was saying to Abu that Lonnie, we'd have this thing, because I used to say to Lonnie, our director, will this make me sexy? Because that's all I care about. I don't care about the story. It's going to be sexy. And it got to a point where...
It was so funny. It was literally every now and then. As long as I'm sexy.
Yeah. What about emotional content?
Don't worry about it. Do I look good? Okay, great.
Yeah. And so it got to a point where I'd be walking onto set and Lonnie would go, "You're going to be sexy."
You're never going to forget that either. That's going to be every job now.
It was brilliant.
Abubakar, Alan has a real beautiful, we see him in combat too, but we hear him say father in the middle of this battle. What was that like for your character to reach that moment?
I don't think he expected to say it himself. I think it comes from a place of, surprise, because for a long time he wouldn't, he was all about duty. He was all about, seeing this man not as his father, because he's never been a father to him, but as, as a man who he can, respectfully distance himself from, but with respect. But I think that after the scene within Corliss's cabin, I think Alan is still trying to process all of that, and it culminates with him seeing something horrible happen, and just almost like the instinctually calling out for his father, like a child. And I think that's what really for Alan was, again, it was a surprise for him. I don't think he expected it.
It wasn't just the dragon water.
No, it wasn't just the dragon water, no. I mean, that probably had an effect. And the seawater.
Yeah, a little bit.
But, let's talk about emotions here,
Yeah.